Hello, everyone. Welcome to the rating show, round 6 against Gold Coast. Even though we lost by only 9 points, even though we lost, I think there's going to be a fair amount of chocolates coming the players' way. Well, from my end anyway. How is everybody? Hope you've all had a good Monday. It was a beautiful weather day today, wasn't it? I think maybe the last one that we're going to get in a little while before it gets really cold. If you're an Essendon supporter here, how nice has it been being out of the media for negative reasons? It's been quite pleasant, hasn't it? Hello to everyone in the chat. I think we might get started and bring in the main man. Hello, Pom Dog.
Hey, how you doing? Can you guys start losing heavily so I don't have to hear about Carlton? But no, I'm good. How are you all? I have been looking forward to this show since about 5 minutes past 9 on Thursday.
I don't know whether I should give you therapy because I've been here, done that, and I know what to say, or if I should just say let's just distract ourselves and talk about Essendon. What is your flavour of choice? Just tell me and I'll oblige.
Look, I'm super keen to talk about a proper football club. To be honest, do you know what I mean? Like at the moment, it's like a really bad episode of like home and away at the minute. And we don't have that hot little Greek shop assistant in the cafe like home and away did when I was a kid. So yeah, change the channel.
Tough times, but you've come to the right place in order to feel at home because we are the kings and queens of hard times. Am I right? Bomber fans, we know it. We know the strange, the ridiculous, the weird, and the bad. So, hello everybody. Hello Jade, Tiger Time, Langy, Troy, Atush, TL. Who have I missed? Nuffy. Oh, Nuffy. Why are the comments coming up weird? The software does this to me every second week. It glitches and decides to change all the headings and stuff. Anyway, next week's ratings will be Anzac Day biscuits instead of Twix. I haven't thought that far ahead, but probably not because that might mean I have to change all the graphics and the thumbnails.
That's a big rebrand. That's a big rebrand.
That is a big rebrand. And look, like I've got an entire box of Twix sitting right next to me. So, but Anzac Day biscuits. When's the last time you had an Anzac Day bicky? It's been a while for me.
We actually get them quite regularly.
Yeah,
they are quite. Well, you know what? This is a weird biscuit subject. Do you prefer the Anzac biscuits hard, or do you like it when you leave them out in the air a little bit and they go a little bit? I want to say wet.
Oh no! Don't bring the wet biscuit. You've already brought the wet biscuits to this chat. Just by you being here.
Yeah. When they go a little bit soft. I've got to give Atush a shout out because he's genuinely right. Like his logic about wet biscuits is very sound. Because
what was the logic
hard
in the
biscuits. No, but we say hard biscuits, but that would allude that the scale has a polar opposite, and the opposite from dry is wet, innit? And so the scale's wrong. Should be hard and soft.
I feel like we're overanalyzing biscuits now, which I'm so here for if we're talking about biscuits. But yeah, I'm with Pix. I'm with Pixie. Got to be a little bit moist in the middle. I'm feeling it about the moisture.
I like to undercook in for a day.
I like to undercook them a little bit so they are a little bit gooey and soft.
Such a horrible word, the M word.
Moist. Yeah, I'm not offended by it like most people are.
It's just a weird one. That's niche, Nuffy. Nuffy. You see, when it first came up on my live stream, I assumed quite wrongly that Atush was going down an area to try and throw me off. I didn't realize he was actually asking a genuine question. So I was with you, Nuffy. I thought he was on about Limp Biscuit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Moby and Richard absolutely bringing out. We're getting some absolute gold from Brad Scott this year. How many memes is Brad Scott going to be on? Last 2 weeks ago, we're all going to die at some point, and now we've got Crimea River. So Justin Timberlake will be very proud of that one. But I think he's going to be on many.
I was glad someone said it as well, because sometimes coaches are way too like pragmatic in these press conferences.
I know.
A little bit disrespectful asking a guy that literally lost, like he where he only had 23 players available. Like exactly. The last person you ask, I mean, if you were going to ask him a question, you'd probably ask him, how do you negate the injuries? Like any advice you'd offer to other coaches, you wouldn't have like asked him, oh, do you feel sorry for him? Because no one felt sorry for Essendon. So
exactly. Yeah. I think he's having a good couple of weeks. I personally, in terms of, I measure coaches in terms of their press conferences on how kind of condescended I feel and how belittled I feel. And I never feel that way I don't always agree with what he says and his choices, but I never really feel belittled. Or, you know how I think you've said with Carlton and Voss in the past that they sometimes can can tell Carlton supporters to stay in their place. I never feel like Brad Scott does that to Essendon fans. I think he always acknowledges that we should be pissed off and we should be out of patience. He's constantly saying this and validating our feelings. I never feel invalidated by him. Oh, my God, Ross Lyon's press conference. Moby, you're right. My mouth was just open when I was watching it. What is going through your mind when he's behaving that way in such a disrespectful manner?
You know what, though? Sometimes the journalists deserve it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind. Like, that's very UK based. Like, it's one thing I wish we had in the AFL, what we have in the soccer. Like, in the UK, coaches are kind of empowered to tell journalists they're muppets. Where I feel like a lot of coaches here are kind of like give them the benefit of the doubt, but some of them are odious wankers, if we're honest.
Yeah, but the questions weren't.
He's OTT at times, but I mean, I think that's part of his charm, isn't it? Like the other week where he said if there wasn't a win-loss column, we'd improve. I did enjoy that. Like, because it's such a stupid remark that I don't think he means it. I think he knows it's stupid and you can't really do anything with it. So I kind of like them.
I'm okay if he's a little bit sassy, like hands up for the sass. I love the sass. But when it teeters over that line of being disrespectful, I think he jumped over the line this week. But anyway, let's stop talking about Ross the Boss and let's get on to giving out some chocolates. And as always, we're going to start with the mids and the ruck. Oh, look, and she hasn't even been 100% prepared. Why don't you start while I do some of my work that I should have done earlier?
200 centimetre, Peter. You know what?
203. Thank you very much.
Do you know what I mean? But you know this was quite an intriguing battle, I found, for them, because Jared Witts, I still disagree with Dimmer. He's not the second best ruck in the competition, but I do think this is a matchup that if you're Jared Witts, you would have said, right, Peter Wright's not exactly the most athletic, quickest bloke. This is probably one where Jared Witts dominates early on. And from the hit-out point of view, yes, he did, but I don't think Blakiston or Mr. Peter Wright disgraced themselves here. I don't think that when you watch what Gold Coast are good at, first use, we actually won the clearance battle, which is off its head. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's off his head. Like, I know. Even with all that dominance. So I think he did what he needed to do. He acted as a body in there. He didn't make it easy. So I really liked Peter Wright's game. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I don't think his output was as great as it was last week, but I also think that's because, we're measuring him in the quality of opponent, and Jared Witts is very good, but I don't think he's probably as prolific. What's the word? What's the word I'm going for? Prolific. I was combining proficient and prolific as he usually is. So I thought Peter Wright did his job, and he took a few marks around the ground where he filled space and got up and down the ground really well. So I giving him a 1. What are you giving him? Anything?
You know what? For his goal alone, I thought that came in a really key moment of the game.
It did. It did indeed.
So I did give him 1 little Twix, a soul-treat Twix.
Lovely.
But no, genuinely, this is one of them matchups that pre-game I would have said he had no hope. And that deserves a vote, I think, if you exceed the expectation.
Yeah, I also think I had such a high bar set for him, probably unfairly after last week's mountain that he climbed. So he probably is at the mercy of that this week. On to young Archer Day Wicks. This was a funny game for him because last week I thought he took a huge step in terms of kind of bridging that gap a little bit in terms of his polish and finishing off of some of his good work. And this week I almost feel like we regressed a little bit in that department. I thought he had some really good moments, but I thought some of his good moments and some of his hard two-way running was let down by some of his turnovers and particularly at important moments, which changed momentum of the game. And this was also true for a couple of the other young guys who made some big errors in some big moments, which just flipped the momentum. Jacob Farrow, Archie Roberts, and Archer Day Wick. So this is going to happen with young kids, but I thought, he probably had a bit of a 50-50 game for me. A hard one for me to give Twix. I don't know how you felt. And chat.
Yeah, I don't think it's Twix worthy, but I thought some of the moments he had, particularly on Boody Hewland, who is a nightmare up and down that wing, I thought he was quite disciplined in that. And you've got to look at just the whole game in itself. Everything we associate Gold Coast being good at, they weren't good at this week, which I think is a credit to the wide players. One thing you expect from them is their ability to transition, their ability from the defensive half. I thought all the wings worked overtime to kind of negate that and almost forced Gold Coast into a slugfest. Even though it was a high-scoring game, I don't think Gold Coast would have really been brave like they were. So I don't think they would have expected this. So, I don't think Archer Day Wicks is going to get Brownlow votes or coaches votes even for this game. But I thought he was he's something to work on. He's just got to clean it up, hasn't he, a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. And it's so hard because he does he changes the angles more than what I probably gave him credit for. I probably see Archie Roberts as the one who is really good at that, but Archer Day Wicks is very good at changing the angles and going inboard from that wing position on transition as well. So, but again, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I do give him the 1 now. I've talked myself into it. I wasn't going to give him 1, but I've talked myself into it. Chat, what do you think about Wicker's game? Are you giving him anything, Pom, or not?
No, just a firm handshake, stiff handshake.
Brendan, you thought he was okay. Yep. Yeah, 2 very costly turnovers that changed momentum. Yep. The good outweighs the bad. He tackles and takes the game on. Yeah. And I think that just got me over the line here. Wicker throwing bullets through the midfield for that Archer May hanger. Yep. Bombers Rockets fan. He was good, still a different player from his first game, but now the bar is a bit higher. You're right. As I've spoken about with Nate Caddy, we subconsciously keep raising that bar, and that's a great thing because it means that they're incrementally getting better. All right, now on to this next guy, Joe Caldwell, who, thank the good Lord, he was pretty much, I reckon he's 80% back or was 80% back to his true self. Someone who I recognised. I thought he absolutely set the tone in terms of the heat and pressure and aggression in the first quarter. I thought he was the one. He's had some really good first quarters actually throughout the year, but in the last quarter as well, he was still going like a maniac, and he was doing a bit of the Sam Durham, taking it from the Sam Durham playbook where he was just throwing his body into the contest. He had the most ground ball gets for us. So a lot of his work is done down low and in the highly contested situations. So probably why his efficiency is not super high, but He had 21 centre bounce attendances, so he was at most of them. 27 pressure acts, which is ridiculously high. 11 contested possessions and 4 clearances. So I thought this was an incredibly good game from Quarters, and great to see him back to his self. Close, anyway. You, Pom?
Yeah. I mean, look, going up against Raul and Tuke Miller with the annoying pasta-eating Adonis himself, Christian Petrarca, it's a tough ask. And I thought this was easily his best game. Not just defensively, but also offensively. I thought that if you told me before this game, Parish, Merritt, and Caldwell would match it with Tuke Miller, Petrarca, and Matt Rowell, I would have probably giggled. But I thought they did. I didn't think they embarrassed themselves at all. And I thought Caldwell was a big part of that. So for Twixes, I'll join you there. I thought he was absolutely sensational. They are a tough trio to go against, and I don't think he disgraced himself. And hopefully he's found his place. Hopefully more of this, because he won't have this much difficulty. Only about 2 or 3 teams are as good as Gold Coast in the middle, so should be okay.
True. And they're Bulls. Would you say they're kind of, and actually question for chat as well, would you say just by virtue of their size that Suns are the biggest, bulkiest, strongest, most powerful midfield? Because I know Fremantle's midfield is highly touted and probably seen as the best in the comp, but they're not big, huge Bulls. And of course, you know, I think they're more slight. So is Gold Coast the most powerful midfield in the comp?
They're an awkward size, aren't they? Because if you look at they've gone with modern day midfielders. So if you look at them compared to Fremantle with a similar age, they've gone like the traditional small, stocky, like Caleb Sarong's like a little bulldog. But you look at Matt Rao and Noah Anderson, who wasn't there, but you also look at Tuke Miller when he plays. They're big, slight as well. Like Matt Rao is deceptively quick as well. I think that's what people forget. Like you watch Matt Rao, he is like lightning compared to his size. So they'd be up there. I think
even the power, like he's strong.
Strong. I mean, you wouldn't want to fight Matt Rao. Yeah. You wouldn't want to fight him. They're physical specimens, aren't they? Like they'd be definitely on calendars. Like Tuke Miller has to have the best rig in world sport.
Oh, he's a very beautiful man all over, really.
Like 0.2% body fat, that guy.
Yeah, 100%. Geez, Jacko, you're going early. Why don't we beat the Pies by 30? Oh, God. I'm feeling a bit trepidatious about all this positive.
They're gettable, Fiona. Like, we weren't brilliant and we were in a kick.
Yeah, true. All right, let's move on to Zach Merritt, who once again had another very, very good game. He only attended 16 centre bounces, so he wasn't in the guts to start for a lot of it, but 9 score involvements and 29 pressure acts, which was the most for us. So I don't know how often in his career he's had that high pressure acts. So he worked hard. He worked very hard defensively and offensively. And I don't know if you've got his efficiency in front of you, but I feel like everything came off that kind of came off his boot and via his hands. So it was a really all-round good game from him.
Let's have a look. Disposal efficiency, 68%. So near bad. Near bad for a man that's kicked 22 times. You've got to look at that. It's kicking's harder than handballing, as they say.
Yep.
I really like, I am in love with Zach Merritt's last 2 weeks. The fact that he's no longer the star. He's willing to take a secondary role. I thought the third quarter when he flew back to halfback as well, which I really enjoyed. Added a little bit of stability there, kept the game going, bit of reliability. So I really liked what I saw from Zach. I like the fact that, like, genuinely now it doesn't feel like the Zach Merritt show and friends. It feels more like the Essendon show featuring Zach Merritt along with other people. So I'm really liking that. You know what? I'm going to give him 2 Twixes. I liked it. And that's where I want Zach Merritt to stay. We should never see a 5 Twix game again from him. I want to see 2 threes Just
I love that. So long as the rest on this sheet are 3-4s, we can't go back to the first 2 weeks when I think only 3 of them had actual Twixes.
No, 100%. Like genuinely now, if this is the mantra of Zach, my issue with him coming into this year was I thought it was all about him, and he was the star of the show, and quite rightly so. He was probably the best resume in the team. But I think where Essendon get better and where he gets better is him taking this role and letting the other guys play. And he's very good at that. He's a good facilitator.
Yeah. On to the captain, who had another wonderful game. And would you believe, is it Champion Data that he was rated the second highest rated player on the ground, which is, it's a bit hard to compute in my mind because I feel like I've seen him play way better games than he did. But the reason that it was, I guess, magnified is because he's playing in the centre, and pretty much everything he did as well came off. I didn't see much stuffing around with the ball. I thought he was very clean. He obviously, that rating doesn't take into account the opposition you're playing on, I don't think, because Matt Rouse still also had a very good game. And in the past, when he's had very good games, it's been down back as a lockdown small defender. So I thought he had a really good game without being able to completely curtail Rao. And I was so happy to see the elation when he got that goal. So I thought he had a really, really good game.
Hey, look, as you'll know, watching this show, me and Brad Scott are best mates because he listens to Pom's ideas and he implements them. We were huge on McGrath back on the ball. Oh my God, it's good. Now let's talk about it. Him on Rao. This is a fascinating one because if you're judging him versus Rao, you'd probably say it's a loss because Rao performed. But I always say you've got to look at it from the other way. Did Rao stop McGrath? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So it's a break even. And as I always say on my Carlton show, sometimes you've just got to break even with the good players. You're not going to beat them, but if you can break even, that's a win in itself. I really like what he did. And you know, one thing with Rao is he's always going to get clearances. He's always going to get tackles. He's a big ox of a bloke who loves eating grass. But what I love about him and what he does loads is it's that give and go. It's that give and go he plays. And that's where he hurts you because he's just like a battering ram. I thought Andy stopped that. So he didn't have the easy handball. And a lot of times Rao had to go it alone, which I don't think he wanted to, which will bring us into the star of the show. Can't wait to blow smoke up Darcy Parish's ass. But I thought that helped him.
I think he's owed it. You are owed a lot of smoke.
So, I mean, look, easy one vote for Andy. One Twix.
Okay, all right.
You get treated harsher if you're a leader by Uncle Pom because I expect it every week.
That's very fair enough. All right, Xavier Dersmart. Another weird old game for me, but what he did do was little disposal for high output. So he had 2 goals, and that mark, I know Caddy kicked it absolutely sensationally, but I think we're underestimating how hard it is to take that mark. Now, granted, I've never played football myself, but I cannot imagine when you're running towards the boundary at full pace with a defender right up your clacker and looking above you and the ball coming in. I can't imagine that that's easy. So I was just highly impressed. I mean, obviously he worked incredibly hard. He covered a lot of ground and he let a few off the hook in terms of his transition work, but I didn't feel like he impacted a whole heap in the same way he did last week.
He didn't, but you know what? One thing people underestimate about Gold Coast is just their ability to spread and get the game going at pace. Yeah, blows 99.9% of the sides off the charts, and this is probably what Essendon have shown is why I don't have Gold Coast in my top 4 possibilities to win the flag, because they haven't learned if you take away their 1 wood. They're not good enough to think their way out yet. They're still naive. And part of that is down to Dersmer's selfless running. He's got to keep his width. there was like 15-minute passages where the ball's not going near him, but he's making that run because it keeps one player out of the centre. It keeps it a little bit open. You watch Carlton, we're the worst at it. We get obsessed with getting condensed. So when we win the ball back, there's no space. So you need players who are brave and are like, right, I can let my mates go and get the ball. I'll run up and down the ground, keep my width, helps it. I really liked his game. And because it's selfless, I'm going to give him a vote. I think people get too caught up on impact and doing stuff. Sometimes just doing that allowed Essendon to do the business in the centre of the ground. So I like Zerv. I like Zave. I know he's capable of the X Factor, but sometimes just doing the sexy and the ugly stuff is sexy, and he does the ugly stuff as well.
Yeah, and the unrewarded stuff. So no doubt he would be on the whiteboard as well for the award that they give behind the scenes. All right. Now, over to the Golden Boy in looks and in game. I thought his game was unbelievable, one of his best, and I can't believe I broke my own logic and my own rule when I jumped off the ship when I said it was going to take him 6 games, and 6 games it did, because he had the most centre bounce attendances, 30 centre bounce attendances, 6 scorer involvements, 11 clearances, which was the most. But outside of all that, and all that stuff was good, but I thought he is getting better, or maybe he's just doing it better. His defensive accountability was so much better in this game. And last week I saw it. I told you I could see him off the ball just running hard to be an option for an outlet kick. And I thought he was doing that again. His space was getting closed down by his opposite of opponent, but he was still running to try and be an option, and that's all I need for him. I just need to see that intent is there, and it's not just a bit of a jog and giving up on that moment. It doesn't matter if you don't get the ball, but at least show that you're trying to be an outlet. So I could not speak more highly of his game. The best game I've seen him play for a couple of years, 100%. And I know you don't give 5 Twixes when a team loses, but I think he earned it.
Darcy. You know what, right? If Darcy ever comes across on this, right, my big complaint with Darcy Parish is he's the cherry on top. If you told me in this game he would have done pretty much nothing goal scoring wise, but was probably the greatest backup to the young players I've ever seen, using every ounce of his maturity and his knowledge and his know-how, that I was actually blown away, like genuinely blown away. I was watching him and going, any second now he's going to realise it's too hard and he's going to check out. He's not getting the rewards. But you know what? Chased, worked hard till the end.
Yeah. I
love being wrong because it means that you're learning. Because if you're wrong, it means that you've just created a skill gap and you've found one. Darcy, mate, well done. Look, five Twixes. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Like,
Darcy,
genuinely.
Who could have seen 3 weeks ago how Pom was talking to Darcy Parish, that Darcy Parish was going to be the one that broke his own rule, Pommy's own rule.
I always say I'm harsh, but I'm also incredibly loving if you do the right. When I checked the coaches' votes today, I was blown away. He didn't have more.
Yeah, true. Agree.
Like genuine, because I was like, he was easily the best Essendon player, and I would have said that he wasn't far away from. I judge it as impact. I thought nothing Gold Coast could do could stop him, and they tried. He just was too good.
Yeah, but also Peter Wright got only 3 coaches' votes last week, so nothing surprises me. All right, on to the lucky. It's not real, yeah, exactly. On to the lucky last of the midfielders. Now, I don't know if his stat sheet looked comparatively better last week, but I actually preferred his game this week. Would you agree with that? Or do you think, like, just in terms of just kind of from a holistic point of view?
Look, I mean, Second, 7 clearances. Huge. Like,
he also had 24 centre bounce attendances, so he was in the middle. All of a sudden, it looks like he and Darcy Parish have some 1-2 going on. They actually know where they're going to be and what each other are going to do. And I'm like, what is this midfield? I am not used to seeing this synergy and this nous of knowing where each other's going to be standing and where the other wants the ball received. Or, I did like his game. I really did like his game, Pom.
I like the physicality as well. I mean, the guy's built like my first girlfriend in year 7. But like he throws himself into them contests against some big men. Men. Like, so fair play to him. The question I've got is, how the hell wasn't he playing earlier? Because the midfield, I think this is the spark. It's the point of difference. Andy being on the ball with Elijah coming into the side gives them 2 different looks that they don't have. And although he might not be in the ilk of your Nick Dacos's, not many people are, your Ed Richards, I think you see that touch of class and that lightweightness and nimbleness. And I really enjoy what he's doing. So, easy 1 Twix for me. I really loved how he went about his work, and I loved how hard he worked as well. Never dropped his head. And I thought this game is one of them games where, a bit like North Melbourne this week, couple of question marks I have about teams. This is a game you're expected to lose and lose well, regardless of winning last week. So I think sometimes some teams have that mindset, fuck, it's hard. It's only round 6. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to put my head over the ball because there's another 20 rounds to go. I thought Elijah was one of them guys who was like, you know what? Fuck trying. I'm going to try and win this game. I believe I can. And I really believe Darcy Parish and Elijah, I felt, were the 2 who really said we can win this game. We're not scared. And so actually, fuck it, 2 votes. I've talked myself into it.
Okay. I actually thought that, and I know you mentioned why wasn't he in this team, but I question whether we're getting this level and this maturity from Elijah had he not been made to build some resilience and some mental dexterity in the VFL and be made to fight his way into this team with everything he had, because there was a time where he could have been alert to the. Do you know that I got a petition sent to me in my DMs from someone made a petition to get him in the team before he, like 3 weeks ago. So he would have been alert to this push to get him in the team. Now he could have tranced around like he was too good for school and poor me, I'm not getting picked for AFL football. But instead, he recognised that the coaches were asking to see something very specific from him. And should he just show that, it would be only a matter of the time that he would get into this team. So I would question if we're seeing this level of output from Tsatas and attitude if he had not been made to take this long way around.
You've made some great points in my time with you, Fiona. I would say that's your best.
Wow. Might just call it a night then.
Bravo. No. I was sat back and mentally I was doing that.
Oh, love that. Now I'm just seeing the clapping hand emoji. All right. Would you believe there's more good news? And it's actually a little bit embarrassing, but I realize that there's a very, very, very easy way for me to go on to the next slide without having to waste time and make you fill time. So let's move straight on to the defenders, shall we?
I was all excited. I'll sit here planning filler.
Oh, no. Okay, well, if you want, you can feel free to, because feel free.
I was just going to take the piss because I was like, usually you get petitions to like stop swearing and be more ladylike.
That's true. I mean, I'm sure that petition's coming. Don't worry.
That's where I thought you were going when you said I got a petition in my DMs. I was like, tell me we haven't gone on to like a petition now. Jesus. Okay, Kako. Look at this.
being on this journey, nothing is surprising me on this journey.
You know what? Look, Fiona, the midfield's humming. Essendon are humming. You've worked out how to click next. Like, everything is coming together.
Did you just, as if you just embarrassed and shamed me like that? Wow. You're lucky I love you, Pom. But no, I deserved it.
I feel bad that I should have told you this is what I do, but I just assumed you'd made separate slides to keep them all together. So I've never said. And just when
so you didn't think to actually tell me to just make them. Anyway, this is the chat.
I've gone full Darcy Parish. I've not communicated.
Wow. You already signed the petition. So you've received the petition too. I'm glad to see that it got around. I tell you what, nothing is surprising me. But all right, let's get on to the defenders. Pom's favourite line. Ben Mackay, how did you see his game?
You know what, right? And I was scouring, as I always do, through Essendon Facebook posts this week. And this is probably the nicest week I've ever seen. People are starting to get a bit of appreciation for little Benny boy.
Really?
Yeah, well, he's still copping the hate, but it's not as bad as it used to be. Like genuinely, the guy was like he needs to be delisted just because he's ugly. And things like that. Like, now they're at least football reasons. So,
and let me guess, what was the quality of his profile picture?
It was definitely from memory like a ute with like a really scraggly dog.
Oh, I was going to say, surely it's some very average looking person.
Now, genuinely, I always find, statistically speaking, if there's a car in a profile, not bad. I'd say the chances is like 92.4% recurring for some reason.
Careful, because what if some fabulous person in our chat has a car in their display picture? No offense, we should say.
No, but that's why I had the 0.4%, because you've got 0.6 that saves you. Like, there is always the exception to the rule. But yeah, you know what? Two one-on-ones this week, which against a very formidable forward line. And he won them all, which is a huge thing. I just thought what Ben does, and I hope people understand nowadays, is that this is what Ben is. You just want him to win his contest. And with the backline we've assembled, like, if he wins his battles, we'll kill people on a halfback. So happy days. So I thought he did his job. Is it good enough for Twixes? These are proper votes. So no, it's not good enough for Twixes. But you know what? I didn't hate his game, and I thought he stood up where he needed to. Brought it to ground when he needed to. Good effort. Yeah.
Look, I didn't think it was close to his best in terms of his best output. Again, I think I'm, in my own mind, slowly raising the bar for him, because I think he's really stood up so far this year mostly. But yeah, I don't think, did he have any intercepts, Pom? It didn't feel like he did. So we didn't really see.
I shall tell you. So intercept marks for 1.
1, yeah, okay. So he wasn't really, reading the ball in that way, and I thought he probably played a bit too far off his direct opponent at the time, whoever it was at any given point. We have to take into account a very high quality opponent, but. Yeah, I think Bombers Rockets fan, it was you who said the big test for him is going to come now without Ridley down back. But I will stress, in round 1 against Hawthorn, Ridley did not play and Ben Mackay was best on ground. So I believe in him, but no Twix from me either. Now on to this next guy who had a weird game for me. Pom?
Yeah.
Can you take this one?
Look, they are... To be fair, this is like probably where you could have the great argument. Don't be so bold in your selections against a team like Gold Coast, because the guys they play in the toll, you've got Ethan Reid, who starts on the wing, will rest forward. You've got Benjamin King. They've got absolute nightmare matchups like Jed Walter. All of them are an intercept defender's nightmare. So I like the fact that he never stopped, though. He tried to get in front. He made some mistakes. It cost him a few times. But I agree with our esteemed friend Brett Templeton. I think it was who said he's ready. Moby. He's ready to launch. I agree. What I saw is the application wasn't right, but the thought was right, and that will pay you back. You keep getting in the right positions. You do what you need to do. You'll do it. It was. I thought he wasn't as impactful as he was last week, but I am seeing what you've all told me. Like since last week, I've seen it, and I can see he's doing the right things. It'll pay him back eventually.
Yes, I hope it does, because I'm also, the thing I probably like the most is that he looked really confident in his body as well. So I'm always looking for these little things with our high risk guys, how tentative they are or not. And for me, I thought he looked like he wasn't aware or conscious of that, which what we saw early in the season. So no Twix from my end. Onto Pommy's love child in Jacob Farrow. He had another nice little game. He's putting together a nice little block of games, as we knew he should, and he's showing. I highlighted on social media a moment where Blakiston took just such a big hit, and young Jacob Farrow literally made a beeline from him as he's gasping for air. Blakiston made a beeline for him and just walked over to him like he'd played 100 games. He was in the leadership group and just tapped him on the head and said, "Yeah, shit, man, that was good." You know, and I just thought, man, I can see you. I just had a flash forward to 10 years, what am I saying? 10 years down the track, maybe sooner, 5 years. And I could just see him. He looked like a leader. I mean, he's a big body, big boy, big frame. And I can just see him having such a presence up the ground as well. So thought he had a good game. I think he had a few really costly, important turnovers, which led directly to goals, but that just comes with where you are on the ground, being more costly, but definitely not bad.
Yeah, I always look at Steph Curry's coach, who always used to say the greatest trait that Steph Curry has is he'll take on the dangerous shot, miss 9 times, but has the balls to take the 10th, which ultimately wins you the game. And you see that in young Faz. Like, yes, he made a few mistakes, but he'll never, them mistakes you want him to make because they're the right idea. You can see where it's going. All the top teams play bold off that half-back line. Some almost play so bold that it's actually heart in your mouth type stuff. I love what he does. I do like the physicality he's adding. But I do like one thing that I noticed this week is only had the 17 touches, so it wasn't the distribution like last week that he got. But I love the way that he kind of knew when to go fast, when to go slow, when to just chip sideways, when to take the kick on. That IQ's building before our very eyes. So easy 1 vote for the Faz dog. Easily my favourite human being on the planet.
Really could have fooled me. I think that's also coincided with a bit of Ridley's influence as well. Just helping him, directing him when he should slow down and when he should go laterally or straight down the line. So yeah, still totally flawed and upset about Ridley. But anyway, we'll get onto him in a sec. Now, this next guy, I thought he was probably, outside of one big key forward, Cole Langford's game was probably my favourite. I know Darcy Parish had a objectively wonderful game, but I don't think this guy's getting enough credit for how he is performing behind the ball. And I think he's also responsible for some of that composure and poise down back as well. He looks confident down there for some reason. I don't know why, but I thought he's also getting up and down the ground really well as well. So that was impressive in terms of, you know, the body struggles he's had. He had the 9 intercepts, which absolutely loved, 7 score involvements, and the 21 disposals. So I thought it was a really comprehensive, complete game from Langers. One of my favourite that I've seen him play. Very impactful.
Langford, the backman. Who would have thought it? Do you know what I mean? Joint most intercepts as well on the ground with Samuel Collins, which is exactly a bad company to have in.
Yep.
You know what? I know we're going to get onto the Riddler later, but watching this, I think between Langford and Farrow, I think Langford gives a little bit of reliability. When Ridley went off as well, the backline didn't shy. And I think that was a big part of just Ridley's maturity. I think Langford's maturity. So
I think it did initially, and then it took him a bit of time. But I think Langford could actually fill that Ridley role. Like, I know we might bring in Jackson Pryor for Ridley, or I don't know, maybe not. But I actually think Langford should fill that role. Perhaps he doesn't read the play, maybe. Although 9 intercepts would suggest that he reads the play just fine. But I really do think he could be that, because I think he has the qualities just as Ridley does. Maybe not the skill, maybe not he's not as silky as what a Ridley is, but yeah, I think he could really fill the role.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the back line when you remove Ridley. What does it lack? Experience.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the horrible idea of bringing Andy from the midfield back to help them out. This stops you doing that. Like, I think Langer's... there was a few times as well, like in the fourth, where you see him point to Farrow, and Farrow hits the switch. So obviously dictating the traffic as well. So that's all you need down there, just for a couple of weeks until Ridley gets back. So 3 votes for me. I really liked it.
Yeah, which I think initially when Ridley went off, I think, Gold Coast put on 7 goals. But so I think it took a little bit of time for Langers to then kind of work his way into the mix and take that commanding kind of general role that Ridley plays. Because then in the fourth, when they actually got the system and structure shored up, that's when, we started to make some inroads of our own. So absolutely loved it from Langford, loved it. And it could be one of the more influential moves. Peter Wright, Kyle Langford, Andy McGrath, they're all looking like they've got a new lease on life in these positions. So I'm absolutely here for it. Gee, my husband has been saying Langford should be in the back line. Oh, wow. Should have called Brad Scott and told him. All right, let's go on to Sardar Hooley, who came in for Jackson Pryor. Sardar Hooley's another one. His game I saw a bit like Wicker's game, Archer Day Wicks. The good he did was just let down a little bit by some of the finishing and some of the polish, which is a little bit of what Sardi struggled with. But I thought in terms of his, pressure and application and defensive application, that is, I was really happy with what he brought in that regard. And of course, he opened our scoring with a lovely, you would have been impressed, a lovely goal kick off the ground, lovely soccer type goal.
We don't mind a soccer on these parts. You know what? He's a live wire, but you do see, like, watching this game, as good as he is, you do see why the old rusty boots of Jackson Pryor helps, because Jackson Pryor is just solid at everything, isn't he? Just solid at everything. Hasn't got the pace of Sard. He hasn't got the extravagance, but he's just, you can hang your hat on him, and that's like that kind of finding that balance. I liked his game, and I think Michael makes a great point as well. Like, defensively, having the ability to keep up is good as well. You got to remember, Tuke Miller's one of the best, incredibly underrated. But yeah, it was one of them games, wasn't it? You always have this. It probably wasn't, once the game shifted in the second, wasn't the type of game that suits Sard. He's not the guy that you want to dig deep and dig down. You want him out on there. So it's good.
And I don't know whether this is by design or he's not being instructed to, but it doesn't, or he's not being given the space to. I don't know, but it doesn't feel like, and chat, what do you think? But it doesn't feel like he's, taking the game on a lot. I don't know if they're just closing space on him a bit more, or the instruction is just to use the overlap handball play a bit more. What do you think for Pom is the reason for that?
I think it's situation based, isn't it? As well, like, I mean, you don't want to just keep giving the ball back to Gold Coast. You don't want to keep running it at them, and some teams are just very good at turning it over. I do think one of the biggest improvements watching you guys play is just knowing when, changing the angles a bit. Last couple of weeks, instead of that kick down the line, you've been willing to switch it, go backwards. It was something, I don't know if Tiger Time's still in here, but it annoys me about Richmond, and Carlton do it as well. Shit teams feel like you've got to go forward. Like it's almost like there's like a prerequisite. If I don't go forward, I've failed, where I was like, you watch North against Richmond, didn't look on, go backwards, go sideways, don't force it. Started to see that bit of accountability. So you don't want to always run and stun. But no, I didn't mind Sard's game. I think there's a place for him. I'd like to see him play higher up the ground, to be honest. I think that I'd like to see him spurt in that more aggressive wing role every so often.
Be part of the wing rotation, you reckon?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously that would be VFL practice. Don't try something in the AFL.
Yeah, true. All right. Are you giving a Twix? Okay. All right. On to Archie Roberts, who had another very good game, and he had the 6 intercepts and the 7 rebound 50s, which I thought was, it was less about the accumulation of his disposal for me this game and more about the impact that he had. He is very good at reading the play, and I thought he took some really, really risky, important kicks at important moments in time. And if he had not slipped over at that important moment, I think it wasn't his fault. It was, I guess, his shoes or the blade of grass is fault. But unfortunately that ended in a goal. But I thought overall he had a pretty good game. Not as impactful as last week. But he gets to the right spots and he reads the play really well, and he starts a lot of our rebounds out of the D50. So I liked Archie Roberts' game.
Yeah, look, the big last couple of weeks. Shout out to my boy Nuffy as well. We didn't have Timu footballer prior in the team, and if you remember when I called him Timu footballer, we weren't really giving responsibility to these young kids. And what I love about Archie Roberts is, it almost feels like it's Archie Roberts' backline.
Yeah,
and
he certainly plays with that energy.
That excites me. That really excites me to watch him play. I like the fearlessness of what we play. As a Carlton fan, I have some of the biggest cowards going around playing football when the going gets tough. They check out. Watching the fearlessness of Archie and the fearlessness of Jacob and the fearlessness of Zach Reed, he's still a baby considering his injuries as well, kind of excites me, because that means you're going to go places. I love Archie's attack of the ground ball. I like the fact he's not scared to get up and dirty with players. He takes off when he needs to. One hell of a player. So, yeah, easy 3 votes for me from the Rob Dog. It gets boring to watch Archie Roberts and Jacob Farah. It's boring to watch.
I'll never get bored of the dynamic duo because I can see the future in their faces. All right, on to Jordan Ridley, who up until 2 minutes into the third quarter was absolutely commanding that back line and looked so assured and was getting up the ground and taking intercept marks, and he was doing everything like we knew he would do. He is capable of doing, and those around him were playing better when he was there. It's such a shame, but that calf, I get the sense that it's not a serious calf like the one he did in preseason or just on the cusp of the season starting. That was kind of a 5-weeker. This hopefully might be 2 to 3 weeks given his history, but yeah, unfortunately, he's going to leave a very big hole for us. I thought he was having a great game up until that point.
Look, I've got a boxing speedball just there, and if you watch the Carlton streams, occasionally you'll see me get off my chair and lament a player and punch it and be like, how many fucking times insert name of player? Why is he so shit? Jordan Ridley this week I got to punch that because I was that annoyed Ridley went down. I was that annoyed, like I punched it, and I was like, curse you football gods. Look, he's a special player, and I think you nailed it as well. Like, what was it, 6-7 goals after?
7 goals in the third, yep.
Yeah, it took a while for everyone's brain to go, shit, Ridley's not here, someone's got to step up. And shout out Langford as well for this, because this is a big role, because you even saw Archie and Farrow really go within themselves almost, because they were trying to close the hole Ridley had left. Some things go unnoticed with Ridley, but it's just the calmness, isn't it? And I always think you want one player, even if he's a two-touch player, who just personifies calmness. And Ridley, that was a tough game. Them first 2 quarters.
Yep.
The scoreboard, you had to work overtime to keep that scoreboard where it was. And every time the ball came in multiple times, Ridley looked like, oh, it's all right. This is easy. It's just a training ground.
And he doesn't get like he's the king of neutrality. So when momentum is swinging the other way, he's still just going neutral. He's not going up and down over the line. He doesn't fluctuate. He's just neutrality to a T. So when the momentum, when Gold Coast were getting a run on, he was just still his neutral self, kept calm, found targets when the panic and the energy was kind of up. And and I think he just calms the entire field. I think the quantum energy field, not the literal field, but also the literal field. Very disappointing. But I thought he was having a great game up until then, aside from his goal attempt. But we'll forget that.
I think there's one stat here that I always look at. There's a whole season's experience difference average across the team. 102 games played for Gold Coast on average versus 79. I think if you had Ridley for the full game, you win this game. But I also think without Ridley, if you just replace Ridley with anyone else in 6 months' time, you would have won this game if it was replayed as well, because that year's experience did show. And I said it in my review today with Gold Coast. The big difference was the know-how. It was just eventually the class was too much. I think if you had Ridley there, though, this game you win, because I don't think that 7-goal spread happens. I don't think Farrow takes that kick off through the middle, which created a goal. I don't think Saad takes off when he should have gone sideways. I don't think any of that shit happens. So suddenly there's 2 goals. We've won the game. But Ridley always reminds me, my pop used to talk about a guy called Bert. And my granddad raised me and my brothers, and he fought during World War II. And he always used to say that everyone needs a Bert. And he tells me that when they stormed Silver Beach and Juno Beach, there was 3 types of men, he always used to say. There's the men that are absolute psychopaths that can't wait for blood, guts, and glory. He's like, there's those who are cowards, who are crying for their mum and just want to go home. And then there's your Berts of this world, who are reminding you, as you've been shot at by Nazi bullets, you are £2 and a pack of darts. And while he's getting shot at, he's just having a normal conversation as if none of this is fucking happening. And saying first person here, last person here has to make the cup of tea. That's who Ridley reminds me of. Like, there's bullets going on, mortar fire, and Ridley's like, so who's cooking the 2-minute noodles when this is over? Like, is it you? Like, I'll do it. So I always think that's who Ridley is. You know what? 2 votes. I'll join you. I was going to give him 1, but he can't help his poor soft tissues.
No. And you know what? If it's any consolation to anyone, I don't think the club will be all this surprised that this has happened to him and he's had another little setback, because his body is particularly sensitive to high loads. And so they increased his loads like they did for every player in the off season, and he started on with a brand new slate, given the program that Matt Innes and the team put for him. So he's reteaching he's teaching, not reteaching, because it's like his body's never been there before, but he's teaching his body how to handle these higher loads and higher intensities. So I don't think they'll be all that surprised. I think this will just be part and parcel of Jordan Ridley's journey. And I would think that when he comes back, they would hope that they can get him to maybe 3 games in a row. And then if he has to do something happens. But when he comes back, he gets to 4 games. And I just think we're going to have to accept that this is just going to be the trajectory of Rids' time until his body just acclimatizes to what's being asked of it. But I do feel sorry for him because it's not his fault. He is, again, I watched him be so diligent with Matt Innes in the off season. It's just very not fair. That's all I have to say.
Genuinely excited though about seeing him and Redmond in this back line.
But who makes way for Red Dog?
Sard.
Okay, so no Pryor, no Sard. Yeah, fair. That's fair. Totally fair. So can we carry Langford, Redmond, Ridley?
I suppose Langford's in that beautiful role now that you can swing him, can't you? So you could just go Pryor because we do need Timu in this. We've got a lot of got a lot of A grade. We've got a lot of
calling him Timu. Although
it's not an insult. Like, look, Timu footballers are important. You win flags around you guys that fill holes. And Jackson Pryor is the best hole filler. He's spack filler. You know what I mean? That's what he is. Everyone needs spack filler. Sometimes you can't be asked to fucking replaster a wall. Just spack filler it and forget about it.
What about this next guy?
Here we are. You know what? The royalty of this channel, I've got to say, your interview was absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't watched Fiona's interview, you will condemn Essendon never to win a game again this season. So there you are. You better get on there, watch it, and like it. Because if not, it's on you. There you are. But Blakiston, yeah, you know what? It was a weird old game for Blakiston, but I'm liking this swinging behind the ball. I think this is like there's a little bit of future in here. He works really hard. Work rate. It's always that thing. You know, we don't like Timu, so we'll go Wish then. We'll go Wish. You need your Wish footballers. You guys who work hard, grind, will battle all day. Blakiston is it. I would love, and I said this about Taylor Byrne at Carlton this week, there is a risk for me of overplaying him, but obviously you've got the second ruck issue. You need that because you haven't really got a primary ruck, so it's hard to kill two rucks. But I'd love Blakiston to go and do this role in the VFL for a couple of weeks, really perfect it, a little bit of less pressure. But in an ideal world, it's tough, isn't it? Like, I mean, who else is going to ruck? So this is going to be a big thing. But I do love, there's something about him, just good, honest footballer. We need more good, honest footballers in this world.
Yeah, I agree. And look, his one-on-one contested work needs work. But it did last year in the handful of games he did, a handful of games he played in the back line last year. So that could be potentially something he could go back to the VFL and work on. I don't think he's played a VFL game because he played. He hasn't played a VFL game. He played straight away.
Yeah, 1 minute you're fucking working at the post. Do you know what I mean? At the post office or whatever he was, and the next minute you're playing.
Yeah.
But
I love the fact that if he's not, you know, if he stuffs up or if he's not feeling like he's having the best game, he'll just put his body on the line like we saw he did late in the game and absolutely copped it. He was very visibly winded, always puts him, never shirks a contest. And I still really love his second efforts. I think that really makes, obviously his athleticism is high quality, but I just love his instinctive second efforts when the ball has either been spoiled or come to ground. He's right on it, and I think the energy and effort is so high there. It's like an 11 out of 10, Pom. But
You know, a big thing, and I said this last night on one of my shows, that what really fucks me off in the world is teams would be more obsessed because the mid-season draft is old people draft, really. It's mature age. That's where people focus. I think the draft should be like that too. So like players like Lachie, Blakiston, in the normal draft, if we didn't have the mid-season draft, they'd rather pick an 18-year-old lanky string bean who's never going to play. And then if you have an injury crisis, you've got like an 18-year-old built like a wet mop. Blakiston is proof the AFL needs to start looking at the waffle, the sample, because he's already served his purpose, hasn't he? He's already served his purpose. If he never plays again, it's a huge success. Bailed you out of the hole. But there's something there, isn't there? There's something there with Blakiston. I'd love him to get some state league football, though. Just really perfect this ruck defender role because I think there's something there.
Yeah, agree. 100%. All right, well, Moby, what's Nuffy saying? Brian got through the game, got monstered in the VFL, but ran out the full game. He's probably 2 to 3 weeks away from any sort of potential call-up. Oh, I thought he had a terrible game, to be quite honest. I thought, yeah, he needs, as you say, 2 to 3 weeks, but maybe 3 to 4 before he's pushing. If he is pushing Blakiston out of the team, I need to see much better. That's pretty much it. Going on a side quest for a second, Shannon. I will oblige you. It's a good question. It's a very good question, and I'm probably leaning more towards the latter. But also, Shrek 1. How many Shrek movies are there now? Is there one too many Shreks? I think there could be.
I don't know, but I mean the reference of being over 2 meters tall, fantastic from you, Shannon. Like I am
very good.
That.
That's why I obliged it. I did enjoy that. All right, let's go over to the last line. Now, starting with this first guy. 1 second, just need to. I know I said I'd completely work this shit out, but not completely. All right, here we go. This first guy, is he not the most pure footballer you have ever seen? Maybe I'm just not used to pure footballers who just look like they're shelling peas. He does the fundamentals, the basics so well. And again, maybe it's because I'm just not used to an Essendon player just nailing all the small things so well. He is the purity in football terms for me. I just
about what I said about Blakiston.
So much.
Blakiston, we are obsessed in the AFL with the next young kid. For me, if you are wanting to be a better team, go for these senior players. Because there is gems around the state league football, and Tom Edwards is proof. 1 minute you're a teacher, next minute everyone's talking about Cooper Trembath. I see a lot of Cooper Trembath in Tom Edwards. He's in the right place at the right times. He does the simple things well. And you know what? Sometimes when you watch young players play, they're trying to do 100 things at once. Sometimes just lead for the ball, create separation, kick between the big fucking sticks. Simple game. And he just does simple really well. So much so, Sam Collins went to him in the third quarter, which, what an absolute honour. That
so true.
Dimmer has said, fuck, it's not Nate Caddy, it's Tom Edwards. Like, that's the biggest honour. So for me, I thought the space he created was absolutely phenomenal. The separation is huge. I'm a big fan I love what he does. I love how he goes about it. And hopefully, Matt Rosa has shown the other incompetent idiots that call themselves list managers, you don't have to keep buying kids. There is talent in the state leagues if you find it.
It's a bit like going to the DFO and going through the sales rack that's overflowing. It's like to find the hidden gem in the sales rack is an art form and a skill, and that's what it is when you're finding these guys. He's 25, soon to be 26, so he's also, obviously, we all know he's got that teacher background, but he is really, really showing leadership as well down there. We have just stolen all of the experience from our forward line. Peter Wright, out. Langford, out. There's babies down there. There's very inexperienced players. And aside from Gresham, who we'll talk about in a second, but I think Tom Edwards is also helping Archie May get it to the right positions as well, and where to tell him where to stand and who to cover, and Sully Roby as well. So loving everything he is bringing, absolutely everything. And the mark, he's the kind of guy who is going to take a Nate Caddy ridiculous mark one day too. And if you'll all let me be a little bit silly for a second, and you're going to hear me say this on the preview when it drops tomorrow, but I had a ridiculous dream that he won the Anzac Day medal next week. So if that happens, and I don't know how to bet, I don't bet. So I probably by rights should put some money on that. But honestly, stranger things have happened. So I'm just a huge Tom Edwards fan.
Mate, honestly, yeah. And look, Pixel, spot on. Like, genuinely, Cooper Trembath. I see it does simple well. And you know what? It's in an era where we're always looking for the sexy and do the remarkable. Why the world is getting more socially stupid is because we don't do the basics. And Tom Edwards is football 101. Just do the basics and everything comes together. You know what? Controversial. I'm going to go 4.
Love it. I could have gone 4. I was probably teetering on 3.5.
Oh, I think if you get the best defender when at first they were taking the piss and putting Mickey Mouse defenders on you, like that just shows how good you are. And fair play to him.
Yep, love it. And he doesn't mind going for a little trot up the ground either, which I do like. All right, off to the little guy in Isaac Kako, who actually, what was it? What did his heat map look like, Pom? I meant to look that up before the stream, but I didn't. Felt like he didn't have a lot of impact, but I also felt like Gold Coast put a lot of work into him off the ball as well.
A lot of time at high half forward.
High half forward, okay. So pretty much same as last week.
If you want to see it, Fiona.
Yeah, here we go. Why not?
I am a man that can present that.
Love that. All right, here we go. Anytime you're ready. Okay, it's waiting on me. My bad.
See, look, you do 8 or 9 shows and see how she talks whenever you're ready. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm talking to the computer. My brain has been glitching all week, so apologies in advance.
No, but there you are. Look, you can see, look, like, probably more of a traditional role. Some things though I want to talk about because, like, I'm not going to expose the guy, but there was a guy I saw on a Facebook on Scooter's page who said worst game by a country mile for Kako. And I was watching the game and I'm like, tell you what, the weed in his suburb must be really strong because I looked at it like 5 post clearance ground ball gets. That's hard man Yaka. He only had 2 less than Matt Rowell, so it's a very physical job. Post clearance contested possessions, meaning that he's in the shit. I thought he did everything but the sensational that we know. Took his 2 goals well. I loved his game. I genuinely thought if you were Dimmer right now and you had to pick an Essendon player, Kako would 100% be number 1. Like he would 100%. He would have been like, I need a bit of that because I look at their small forwards. I don't think they have a small forward as good as Kako. They certainly don't have a small forward as good who can go in the midfield. My only annoyance in this is I would have loved, and I know it would have been a tough matchup for him, but around stoppage, I would have loved him to match up for maybe just 2 or 3 minutes, a couple of them, him versus 2 Camilla, because I think there's something there with how they attack the ball at pace. And I think he might have learned a few things of how you can get away from people. You can get outside of people. So I liked his game. This will surprise people. I have him at 3 Twixes.
Yeah. Okay. You've convinced me. We probably didn't see as much of the dancing feet and the evading traffic that we saw from last week. But again, I thought Gold Coast were very conscious of him around stoppage, and I thought they actually actively put work into him not doing what he did last week against Melbourne. So kudos to, as you mentioned, Damien Hardwick would love him, but I think he also identified him as a line breaker and a game breaker. So,
and the risk of being boring, like this guy's never VFL'd. Like he's learning on the job against the best of the best. Do you know what I mean? The best of the best. And you know what? I said it about Nick Dacos today. One thing that I think Nick Dacos is the best player in the league. Why I think he is? Because there is no one in the league who learns as quickly as him. Like you find a weakness, 4 weeks, that weakness is gone. I'm seeing them traits in Kako as well. 3 or 4 weeks, what he's shit at now, or you complain about, in 4 weeks, you see he's worked on it. And that is how you go from good to great to legend. Like you've got to have that. He's definitely a sponge. I love watching Cax play. Love Cax.
Yeah. And I like that he's getting attention now because he needs to learn how to break through with when he's getting attention, just like Nick Dacos has to work through when he's getting tagged, and Zach Merritt has to work through that as well. So I like this is good for his game, and it's not only it's a compliment that they are putting work into him, but it's good for his development too. On to this guy. I don't think I have ever seen this guy be as urgent as he is up the ground around the footy and spread it on the spread in order to be an outlet for a player. Have you seen it before? I don't know that I've seen it in red and black. Maybe I'm having amnesia. I don't know. But he's not just having impact in the forward line. Yes, he's kicking the goals, but it's his work up the ground as well. I never thought I'd see him be a good conduit between the lines, but on the weekend he really was. And last week too.
You know, last night on the radio, we were talking about Essendon as one of the most, I posed the question, Essendon, is it real or flash in the pan? And I presented the argument that if you look at Essendon from a statistical team, they haven't actually improved much from now till last year. Yes, the team players have changed, but even if you look at the last 5 with them having them players, not much has changed. So that means something else has happened. Like I always say, when something like that happens, something has had to have changed. Like, doesn't just go good because the wind has changed. I think what you've touched on there and what we've touched on the last 3 weeks on this show is the old guys have a sense of urgency, as you've pointed out, but a sense of place. Essendon Football Club can't continue to be Jade Gresham FC, Zach Merritt FC, because it's shit. It's bottom 4 football. That's as high as they can send you. But if they work, they dig in, the good players, your Kakos of this world and your Roberts, can lead you to the promised land. But they need the support from these old, wily old dogs. I like how Gresh is going about it. Like the last couple of weeks, he annoys me, Gresh. Like genuinely annoys me, but he's working selflessly. Bit like Parish this week. He's got the talent, but we don't want him to have that flash in the pan game. I need the 6 out of 10 game, the workhorse game, because I've got guys who change the game. I really like how he's working, and I'm only going to give him the one. But I like it. Night, mate. Love you. But yeah, Jay Gresham, one vote.
I said after the fan cams, I thought there were 2 goals that he got a bit selfish on. I'm retracting that. It was just the one goal that Edwards was open and arms wide open and ready for the pass, and Jay Gresham went for goal instead. Maybe I think he just wanted the limelight in that moment, but it was only the 1, not the 2. So, I was impressed with it. All right, chat, question for you, Pommy, without notice. If the final due date on his contract, yay or nay, was tomorrow, are you giving Jay Gresham another contract next year, 1-year contract? Yay or nay? And chat, I'm opening that question to you.
No.
It's a no. Okay. Interesting. Chat, all right, Pix is coming with a no. Sean is coming with a yes. Moby on the 1. Adam on the no. Yeah, Nigel for 1 year. I personally think I need more time. I need to see a month's worth. But if it was due tomorrow and I'm not afforded that more of that time, I'm probably saying no. However, I also need a contract saying we definitely pick up a small forward or someone who plays a similar role, half forward, in the draft or in free agency or mid-season draft or wherever. So I need that caveat in the contract if I'm not giving him that contract.
No, I agree. Look, at the end of the day, if it was like, say, a rookie deal, like let's say you delist him, bring him in on minimum chips, there's no one out there. But yeah, I wouldn't say this is a priority. This is like, I know people hate this, but it turns me on when clubs do this with old players. If I was Matt Roser, I'd be saying, look, Jay, it's not going to happen. I've got priorities. If it doesn't happen, there's a train on spot for you, but seed pastures you. And if no one picks you up, we're going to have a look at some state guys and train you on with them 4 weeks before pre-season and make him earn it that way. We did the same with Matt Carroll a couple of years ago, and Matt Carroll's like probably Cowan's best player, which, considering he was delisted from the rookie draft, just shows where Cowan are. But I love
We're making so many good decisions as a club right now.
But he was up against like absolute wastes of space, guys that we always gave jobs to year after year. So that helped Matt Carroll going up against idiots like Jade Gresham, who we knew where their level was. So I'm hoping that Jade Gresham we're guaranteed he can play 10 games well. But if we give a job to a 21-year-old, if they're better than Jade Gresham in pre-season, we're winning. This is a huge win. But you've got to keep Guelphy like Ray. I don't know what your problem is with my Guelph dog, mate.
Look.
Ray,
your nose is growing as we speak.
Ray, look, one of the most important things at a football club is its togetherness and its cohesion, which Essendon have got at the minute. And why do you think that is? Probably because Matt Guelphy arranges the fucking beers at the end of the night. That's why. Very important to have. Underrated part of the football club. I know I'd rather have Guelphy say, Pom, I've arranged the night out than McGrath. I know it's going to be a good night.
Okay, moving on to my main man who was my favourite performance. Yes, Darcy Parish, I see you and I acknowledge you, but nobody brought me more joy from this game than big Archie May. 2 goals, lovely. 8 tackles and 20 pressure acts. 8 tackles is good from a midfielder, but 8 tackles from a big boy and a beautiful rundown tackle in the first quarter. Chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss. Everything I want from him. His pressure directly and big tackle directly led to the Andy McGrath goal. I am so in love, like to the point where 2 meter Peter is in danger. He's in danger of right now. So Archie May just honestly is getting better and better every single week. And I think he is a presence. I know for a fact how hard he works off the field. Take my word for that, chat, and everybody watching. He is going to be something. He has a huge future. Huge. He is a baby. He is in his infancy in terms of his AFL life. And this is the level he's at now. Someone on Facebook made me laugh, commented on a post of his that I did and said he's already better than Pat Voss. And I just replied saying who? So obviously it's in jest. Thank you, Pom. We're being facetious, but this is how high I think this guy's ceiling is. So
look, we talk about the next evolution. Fiona's is like really sticking it up to other content creators and fans. That's where I want Fiona to go. So
I was going to say, I'm not doing that purposely.
Fiona needs to be a little bit like the spray I gave Archie May 3 weeks ago, right? Because since then, Archie May is kicking ass and taking names. Uncle Pom said, God didn't make you that big to fucking bake cakes. He made you that big to smash heads. And you know what? He's doing it. I love the fact now he's got this little thug in him. He's playing the way that the game owes him something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that turns me on. And you know what? I have coffee with a couple of football managers in the AFL. And last week, one of them told me something absolutely that made me want to just quit. But it was the second one who confirmed to me that their least expenses, they look at Tasmania more than they do the local state leagues. And they're looking for kids. And again, May is another reason why you need to stop this ridiculous expense on looking at the next child and look at full-blooded men. Because what happens is May wouldn't be playing AFL football if it wasn't for the injuries. Same as Tom Edwards. They'd be back doing their jobs. When you give these guys opportunities, you give them a defined role, they'll fucking execute. A lot better than a kid, because unfortunately there's no 18-year-old wispy, undraftable kid that can do this against men. Archer he's a freak of nature, isn't he? Look at the size of him. Freak of nature. And he's playing now with that confidence in his body. You know what? Fuck it. I wasn't going to do it. 5. I want to give 5 votes to the 2 guys. No, the 2 guys.
I don't know you're getting an invite back. No, I'm kidding.
No, I gave him 4, but you know what? The 2 guys I've been mean to have massively turned it around in the last couple of weeks. So, you know.
Oh, so you're taking credit. Okay.
No, I'm not taking credit, but I would, as a father and a coach myself, if I'm harsh, I've got to reflect my love. Because otherwise it gets lost.
With Archie May, Pom, I thought it was particularly unfair because it wasn't an excuse. It was an explanation for him. I felt differently with Parish and maybe Guelphy to a lesser degree. But with Archie May, I thought it was understandable that round 1 he was maybe a bit tentative. And look, I acknowledge that he's not getting the best defender at the moment. He's probably getting usually the second best defender. But honestly, a part of me just thinks he's thinking, bring on. In the off season, what did I do? Any of you remember the video where I said in his brain, in his mind palace, in his brain, he's got a whiteboard and it says play round 1. Well, that he did. And then I think now in his mind palace on the whiteboard, it just says, be a fucking great footballer and kick some ass on the whiteboard. That's what it says. And I just think he's the kind of guy who...
Look, you were the kind parent, but genuinely, his game against Hawthorn was one of the worst things I've ever seen with 2 eyes. Like genuinely, like no offense to him. Let's be having it right. My son, who's just gone to bed, he's 10. He would have been more physical.
Okay,
but now, yes, he's throwing his weight around, and he's absolutely killing it.
All right, enough Archie May glazing. All right, but also I could just stay in this space for another 20 minutes, but people will start yelling at me. Anyway, let's move on to the next guy who I'm also happy to glaze forever and a day. Nate Caddy. He had a hard day. Is it fair to say he had a hard day's work? It was a hard day for him. Sam Collins is an exceptionally good footballer.
Yes and no. Yes and no, right? So at the minute, there's idiots going around like Kane Corns who are like, Charlie Kerner, 1.5 million a year, free draft picks to be a role player. And I'm like, no. Sometimes we look at key forwards and we're like, okay, they've got to kick 6 a week. This isn't 1985 anymore. Nowadays, they go 2-3 goals a game, right? 2-3 goals a game. However, when you watch what Nate Caddy did this week, like Charlie Kerner, him working, making them leads all the time creates opportunities for the others, right? That's something that goes.
People yelled at me and told me that he's not developing.
No, but it's what fucks me off because I hear all this rhetoric around Charlie Kerner. I'm like, they've added 6 different goal scorers. That's the big difference for them per game. They had 7 last year. They're 13 on average goal scorers, right? So it absolutely kills me when I watch it. Nate Caddy this week, yes, it wasn't a great game. Yes, he didn't kick thousands of goals and he didn't kind of walk off with the Coleman. But it should be understated that a lot of key forwards, looking at Harry Mackay here, looking at, who else can I look at? Jeremy McCameron up until this week, his head goes down. And they're like, okay, it's not happening today. So you know what? I'm not going to make that lead. And then it becomes easy to defend. He selflessly ran and ran. He was fumbly. It was a shocking game by his standards, but credit to him. He put himself in the right places. And I'm a firm believer. I say this all the time with my pupils in golf. You do the right things long enough and hard enough, eventually it pays you back. It might not be today, but you keep doing it and you keep fronting up, eventually it pays you back. And I think Nate Caddy just had one of them days where he got towed up. But if he didn't make them runs, you double up on Archie May, you double up on Tom Edwards.
That's right. Yeah. And look, Collins still have I believe it was the 5 intercept marks, but I think all in all, sometimes a forward has to play a sacrificial role. And this week I felt like he really did that. So May and Edwards could get on the end of some goals. But it might surprise people to hear that he actually covered the 4th most distance in the game.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Most people would not have said, if I asked you who covered the 4th most distance, would have said Caddy. Because a lot of people assume that he was just pigeonholed in the centre square at full forward for the entire game, deep forward. But he actually did a lot of running in this game. So it's not going to be his day on the scoreboard every single week. And yes, he's got ways to go. He's got ways to go in his forward craft, but he is a baby still, essentially. So that is to be expected. Hopefully, maybe next week we beef up. And it's not easy, yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Look, and that's a great start from you. Great start from you. Hey, Fiona, you're on fire this week. Tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I started just with Archie May, and then I thought Archie May's the only one, and Langford. They're the two that were my most favourite. And then Parish coming in third. And then I just started getting into it. I'm like, all right, Caldwell's stats are flying off the page here. So I might do it a bit more often, but generally I go the eye test. All righty, on to Sully Roby, who, I mean, is there a more just vivacious player in the game at the moment, young or old? I believe not. This guy just oozes energy and oozes like fire and presence, and he's in his second game. It's quite unbelievable. But if he's, I'm trying to think who has played like this so early, like for the jumper, you know, those vibes for the jumper, like just okay. I don't quite remember.
Can I just say, both of your celebrations, the jump up American bum thing for that second goal in quarter 3, you know, from the stoppage, loose ball, one step outside 50. Even I celebrated that. So I verbally, audibly went getting. And the celebration, a thing of beauty. But his first one, like the little machine gun celebration.
It's just divine. It's just like hooking into my veins, and I could go all night long. Like if I had the juice that this guy has in his flowing through his, I mean, he must be full of adrenaline in those moments because, man, and you can see people lifting around him. Did you see the reaction Ben Mackay had? Like,
yeah, he was so excited.
He doesn't often go above that neutral line, but he was jazzed.
Can I say as well, we should probably give Jade Gresham actually an extra vote, because he was the one who actually celebrated that goal. If you actually watch that first goal he kicked, when he gets out the back of the stoppage and he just kicks it from like 55, you actually watch Gresham's already celebrating as the ball's still got to go 35 meters and beat 2 people on the goal line. So shout out him. But no, honestly, absolute sensational. I said it last week. He reminds me of baby Nat 5, and this game like really drilled it home. I thought the physicality of him at a young age, the goal now.
Okay, vibes aside, I think he's got a long way to go. I'm not sure. Look, if it wasn't Anzac Day, I'd probably maybe suggest Jade and UN to come in to switch, but I'm all in on the Sully Roby train. But he's got a long way to go, I think, which is fine. But for the vibes, I have to give him a 1, just purely for the vibes.
Yeah, I had him for 1 vote. I think you've been really. I can't believe you're the mean one. Dropping Sullivan.
I mean, I don't want to, as in, I'm not going to make the decision, but I'm thinking. I'm just thinking maybe Jade and UN might give us a bit more up forward.
He was very good in the VFL.
I was about to say, I'm not sure if you were across his VFL game, but it was a bit insane, his third quarter. Quite insane.
I mean, the tackles inside 50 and the 3 goals. Bro's taking the piss, isn't he?
Delightful. Absolutely bloody delightful. So, I don't know. Just saying. Excuse you, TL. I am not the mean one. I am the one defending these boys. Anyway.
Usually, I mean, this is a plot twist, to be fair, this week. I
contain multitudes, everyone. And if you ever think you got me figured out, I'm just going to hit you with a...
I did see, actually, the content creator, I don't know if he's still in chat, make yourself known, Felix, but I did see the content creator's version of Darcy Parish as well. He's the Darcy Parish of the content creators world.
I can see that. Very good by you, Pom.
He is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, he's also forgotten his uncle Pom as well. Now he's got a bit of celebrity and fame. So hopefully he learns off Darcy Parish this week and remembers the masses. But nah, look, Sullivan Roby, I agree. I do want to see him get some VFL time eventually. But I do think for me, Collingwood, the biggest game in AFL, Anzac Day, him versus Collingwood.
That's why I'm not doing it, because it's Anzac Day.
I reckon I want Newen in though. You know who I would maybe drop? It's the guy we're going to talk about next.
Oh,
my
plot
boy.
twist! Talk about a plot twist. Have you had something to drink this afternoon, Pop? What the hell? I did not see that coming. Okay, tell me more.
It's a tough one watching Duz because I absolutely love him. So, I mean, I hope Duz doesn't think I've fallen out with love with him. I'm just not picking up what he's putting down at the minute. Feels really lost, doesn't he? It's like the game, everyone's got a role right now, and what Duz he's really good at, hard, working hard, strength, things like that. Just feels like everyone, he feels like a bit out of place at the minute. And I love Duz, and I'm with you, Felix. Look, I love Duz. Durham's not too far away from where I grew up as a kid as well, so I've got personal connection with the surname, but just doesn't feel quite there, does it? It's kind of like a meh. It doesn't feel complete. It feels like there's something missing.
But, I mean, he's really not getting much centre bounce time at all. Do you think he feels a bit lost because of that? Or should you just be you put your big boy pants on and you go where you can help the team? My issue with him has always been his ability. He goes missing. He just drifts in and out of games. And I kind of put that down to he plays with such a veracity and such a high tempo way and a very contested way that maybe he just wasn't aerobically able to get to more and more contests. And I thought maybe that was it, but he's very fit, so it can't be it.
Look, I love Duz. I love him. But yeah, this just screams like one of them roles where I always think when you've lost a little bit of your vigor, a two shafts is he replaced by a lizard? Could be. You never know. You never know nowadays. I just think like I agree, Brendan, he's the type of player that I want out there versus Collingwood, because I feel like it might be the thing that injects him. But if he doesn't fire against Pies, I think that this is where you just send him to the VFL and say, find that chutzpah that you've lost, because it genuinely just feels, I think you're kind of right. He's kind of displaced Tsatas. He's going great guns. That midfield rotation looks sexy. Everything's going well.
What if they chuck him back on a wing to get him a bit more involved? But I don't know that he's got the defensive discipline of a Dursma. Does he? Or even the Nouse to do that wing role.
You see, I see him. I see his future as that fifth. You know what I'd really want him to do? Like, speak to Dyson Sharp and go, Dyson, the year before the draft, everyone said you were a one-dimensional midfielder. You didn't have pace. You didn't kick goals. You were just an extractor. And then you worked in the preseason. You came back and you were like one of the top goal-kicking mids in the league. You added another string. What the fuck did you do? Because, like, genuinely, Dyson is an anomaly in the draft. It's why I loved him. First year in under-16s, he was just an extractor, didn't really create anything. Second year, he added this creation. The third year, everyone said he couldn't kick goals. I feel that's the thing that separates the goals. Like, if he could run in and kick some goals, I think he's got a very important player to play that fifth rotation, that connector, which Langford was meant to be. I reckon that could be it. But it's a tough one with Duz because he feels like he's lost his mojo. It's like, when your mate is in a long-term relationship.
I thought he was supposed to be more that outside player to kind of replace a bit of what we're lost with Nick Martin. I really did see that kind of season from. I thought that's what they had in mind for him this season, but it's not really playing out that way.
Watching him, what I love about Duz is he gives 110%, but the role that they're trying to play him in is that like kind of mid-forward role, isn't it? And like I said, the analogy I can use, it's like when your mate has a long-term relationship. 5 years in, he splits up with her. First night out, you take him on the beers, say, look, we'll just go and chat up some nice young ladies, have a good time. And then you watch him. He's got used to being in a relationship. So he starts talking to this poor girl about like Excel spreadsheets. And you're there like, what the fuck are you doing? That's what it feels like. It feels like Gus needs to fall over the line so he gets his mojo back and his chutzpah back.
Okay. So it's not just, he's just not confused by his role. Could it just be a confusion, or do we just, again,
I'm a firm believer that if you are shifting, exactly like Nigel says, when you're shifting and changing your role, it's why we have the VFL. It's why we have the VFL. Like, I'm a firm believer in, unless you're like under 21, like in a baby and learning a new role, we don't use the AFL for training and ideas. We use the VFL for ideas.
Yeah, I cannot see that happening. In fact, I would fall down completely if that happened. But Jacob disagrees with all of us. I think he's playing the Dangerfield contested possession role, minimum touches, maximum impact.
Can I just say, Jacob, I love you that you went bold as well, mate. You didn't just go like playing like a high impact role. You used Dangerfield in the sentence. Rate that from you.
Well, we've got to set the bar high. So I also rate that from Jacob. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's the intent. Maybe that's what they're trying to get from him. I just don't think we're getting that from him.
I can see it. I think Jacob's right. And but I mean, the issue is it's not quite panning out that way. So I mean, it'd be interesting because like I think Does is a unique specimen. Like the wing role, I don't mind. I mean, is that like an Archie Day Wicks?
Like, replacement.
Like, do you put him back there, say to him, look, you go there, Archer, you need to refine X, Y, Z. But I just feel this is like, I think there's more to Does than this. And it does feel like there's just something missing.
I'm a bit the same, TL. I like him as a defensive forward too. And then getting on the end of some goals though.
But like Nuffy says, great for competition. These boys were having this conversation. I think 6 weeks ago we would have guaranteed Does play.
Yeah. It's so strange that we're having this conversation. And I know the Ridley news is really bad news, but we have to remember how good our fitness is at the moment. We have won every last quarter, bar one this year. And that one that we didn't win was against Port Adelaide, and it was only by 1 point. And we still put 5 goals on the board. So our fitness and our ability to run out games at the moment is very, very good. And in context of where we've come from, don't remember how bad we were last year. And dare I say that most of the high risk guys are handling the extra load very well. So
can I just say, shout out Nuffy. No need to be mean. I thought we were mates, mate.
Or did you do a drive-by like how Carlton have numerous slow inside mids all fighting for the same slots?
I've said it for years. Carlton literally just cheat on Sims. You know when you like create families on Sims and you just can't be arsed, so you just change the head and the skin tone. So you basically have 55 people with the same face, slightly different hair, slightly different skin tone. That's basically Carlton's drafting strategy. We're just like, wouldn't it be great if we had a Cripps who was slightly thinner and couldn't bench press as much, but had long black hair? Let's draft him. And then we wonder why it's the same. We pretend we're shocked. You get Nick Austin there looking biscuit arsed, going, not too sure why we don't have pace. Maybe draft one, you dickhead. Yeah.
Look, to be fair, 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, last year, pre-season, we all thought that we had the same in our midfield and the one dimension in our midfield too. So,
look, you know, one thing I'll give Brad Scott credit for since doing this show, he's tried something different. And, you know, the hardest thing he had to do was give the senior players less responsibility and the young people more responsibility. And that's hard because when you're in the shit, logic is, takes balls that. Unfortunately, like, mate, honestly, Carlton can't even look after the players properly. So let alone coming up with a great strategy.
I don't know if you have heard, Jez, but Pom, but Jez in the chat, don't know if you're still here, Jez, but has said that Elijah Hollands has been admitted to hospital, which makes me feel sick to my stomach. So sending out so much energetic love and health and good energy your way, Lige.
Yeah, hopefully we see him back out there. And like honestly, as I said in my video, regardless of what you think or think he hasn't done, that is a human being at the end of the day, and we've got to remember that. God love him. God love Lidge.
All right. It's time for the bonus 0.5 Twix before we end the show. Chat. I was a bit lost with who to give my 0.5 to, given that I'd maxed out. Although I did give an extra 0.5 to 2 meter last week, so I could have technically given it to Big Archie. But who is getting? Yep, Jez. Thank you, Jez. Good to see you. Who's getting your bonus Twix? Who deserves the bonus Twix? Nuffy, maybe we should do a VFL. No, that's adding way too much workload. But yeah, good shout.
We love the VFL. You know what? I am going to give it to the best looking man in AFL, Darcy Parish.
Are you being facetious, or you actually do?
He's a
believe
good-looking
that?
boy, isn't he? Like if you were doing a calendar, like you did your own version of like male stripping, like Magic Mike, but it was like posh people, like private school boys. He would be a Shannon Tatum, wouldn't he? So 5.5 votes, Darcy Parish.
All right,
well done,
lovely.
lad.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of you,
Richard. You've read my mind. Absolutely, that is the way I'm going. I really did love Kyle Langford's game. I've given him a 4, but he's getting my 0.5 because I really thought he was highly influential, and I am backing him in to play that Ridley role. I really am. I think he's could be very good for it. So we have arguably we have one of the best looking teams. Now, I don't know how many women are in the chat. I know I'm the only woman on screen, so I can say from an objective point of view and from a female point of view, we have a very, very good-looking team. Very good-looking team.
Is that professional?
Andrew Welsh robbed the votes, yes. Andrew Welsh did set the tone in terms of our tackling, our highest tackling game and highest pressure rating.
If you pick the calendar, you'd have to do it in an A3 with the height.
What are we talking?
You couldn't do an A4 calendar.
Okay, Trish, thank you. Trish is a fellow woman backing me up on this. Yeah, we have. I think I need to. I feel like I don't want to objectify the men because people will yell at me and say, "Oh, what if they did that to women's teams?" Blah blah blah. But for my own excursion, I will go on that little trek and look at all the other teams and see how many. I think we have 6.
This would be a great. This is the kind of rating show I could get behind.
Oh my god, that would take the Twix ratings to a whole new level. And I think I'd get cancelled.
I know in 2026 people would hate it, but wouldn't that be a show? Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be a show now?
I would get so cancelled. I'd probably lose all my credibility. But yeah, it would be.
Sean, that's a cancelling.
Yeah. See, at least I'm self-aware. Am I right? All right, everybody. It's been a great night. Yeah. I'm not. I think we're laughing at the same thing, Pom. But
Pixel's been on fire in chat. Like genuinely, he's been on.
Has Pixel got the 5 Twix tonight?
Oh, it'd be quite hard. Like it'd be quite hard to give out 5 to chat, but he'd be up there. Like Jacobs would be up there.
Jacobs has only come through with a few comments, but they've been absolute gold. That one was very
Jacobs
good.
reminds me a little bit like what we credited Tom Edwards for: limited touches, maximum impact. Like
yes, Jacobs is the Tom Edwards of the chat tonight. Well done. And hey, Pom, maybe we should start doing the ratings of the chat. We'll just give out the Twix votes for the chats.
We could do
we're taking some side quests here.
You two could have a Pom spray not being for not meeting the high standards. But yes, that would be good. But
That
go
would
and
really-
get the fucking win against Collingwood, would you? Like, fucking sick of them.
Oh God. Have they lost their aura, Pom? Are they right for the taking? But also, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But this definitely
100% they're
feels
right
like
to be fair, we played technically one down due to injury, mental health, and we were within a kick. And we didn't play that well. I don't think they played well. So I still stand by. If Lidge was right, we would have found a way to win that game. Bless him, not pinning it on him, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. If Lidge did what Lidge could do, I think we would have won that game. So I think you guys.
I'm a
who's
little
missing
bit
this week? Ridley.
Yeah, I'm a little bit trepidatious that the occasion and the moment and the stage might overawe some of our babies. So I'm a little bit conscious of that and conscious of Collingwood getting out to like a 40-point lead and us having to play catch up for the rest of the game, which I think they will do, and they will dig deep because I think they've earned that right for me to trust now. But yeah,
I just feel there's a lot of players here with like dicks out for this game.
Okay. You mean for Essendon or Collingwood?
For you. Like, I reckon Roby's like fucking, he's ready.
Yep.
Like,
okay.
He's ready. Like Zach Reed, I think he's had the best preparation. He's about to go up against two guys that I don't even know if they could spell AFL. Like McStay and Membry, I think, would struggle to spell it between them. And
yeah, but these are the kind of guys who just, I don't know, in the past, this is a new Essendon, to be fair. I just created a different word. It's a different team and they're a different outfit, definitely. But I don't know.
I reckon Herbertron.
Sorry, Pom. What was that?
I reckon Herbertron will be doing a very rare, but they're always the best when they win. I reckon he's doing a.
Oof, if we win, tell you what,
they're always
their
better.
kids are going off.
I know he's a good. I know he's a good when you lose Herbertron's videos, but I think his wins are better. His wins are better when he does a video. I reckon he's in for a banger. Like my prediction, I reckon the Anzac medal.
Ooh, all right, let's go some predictions chat.
Anzac medal, Kako.
Oh my gosh, I would die from love if that happened. That would be magical. Magical.
I reckon Kako's about to go mental.
You just know, like, Caddy's getting shut down horrifically, isn't he? Like, who's taking like Darcy Moore's back, Maynard, Howe. I don't think Caddy's getting much of a look in personally. But who's my guy? Who's my guy getting, Pom, as a matchup? My big boy.
Probably he's been playing in the ruck though, hasn't he, mainly? So Frampton probably gets Cads for a while, unless Frampton rests forward. You know what's going to be interesting is
Pixel, you no longer get the 5 Twix. Just saying, you have been
quick way to lose it.
That's a very quick way to lose it. I take no prisoners. No, I'm just kidding. Herbertron, happy to go second.
Be interesting because that was one thing that Essendon did incredibly well. Collingwood did well against us. Is that Pittonet's a big bulky fucker, and they kind of like he was going 50-50 with Darcy Cameron for most of the game, and I thought it was weird watching the game. Oscar Steen, this superstar, just never came out, and then suddenly fourth quarter they gave Steen the full amount of ruck time, and Steen killed Pittonet in that fourth. Like, genuine. It was crazy to watch. So that's something you're going to have to watch out for this week, because I think Peter Wright can physically go with Cameron. It's going to be
Griffin's gone left of centre. I love it.
Don't mind it.
Shaky Snake's gone with your man.
Don't hate that.
I'm a Rockets fan has gone with Roberts. That could easily happen. I'm still sticking with Tom Edwards for the medal. Langie's gone Cads. Okay. 7. Why are you all going with 7? Why is that the number of the night?
Tell you, it'd be a way to write yourself into folklore, wouldn't it? 7 goals.
I do like this from you, Griffin. I would Love that for him.
Well, I think the obvious call. I mean, can we? Let's have a look. Always a good place to start. I wonder if they've got the betting odds already out.
I think Nick Dacos, and then it's like daylight. Surely.
I just look. I love Nick Dacos as much as the next guy, but I just don't think.
Look, I'm getting a lot of seconds. And I am a high achiever and a perfectionist, and this is really hurting my feelings, chat.
However, that would mean if you're second to Herbertron and me, you're the number one female content creator. There's a win.
Yeah, but do I want to be taken on my... Like, do I want to be rated because am I getting just ahead because I'm a female? I'm a shiny toy in this space? No. I want to be getting by on the merit of the content.
Don't want to play with this one anymore.
No, you all know I'm just being funny and just joking with you.
Evidently, I mean, we can gamble on how many times Scott Pendlebury picks his nose. Evidently, we can't gamble at this stage on who wins the medal. Can I just give a shout out to Essendon? That might be the best. Can I just say that Essendon, as a man that was raised by a war veteran, I've got to say, Essendon's Anzac Guernsey. Absolutely.
Oh, it's elite.
Sex.
Oh, Shaky Snake. This could be a sneaky. McGrath could, I could see that happening. Him having a really good day and getting off the chain and winning the medal. Yep. Pixel going Houston. Oh God, has that man not inflicted enough pain on Essendon supporters?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Roby is going to snap Dacos in half of the first bounce. I'm just waiting for the day that they put Roby in a centre bounce. I'm just going to enjoy myself so much.
TL coming through with the goods. We love you, TL. What's Kako, TL?
I can't wear any other colour hats. I look like a potato. Like, I really do. Take it from me. It's not a nice sight. Black all the way. The medal odds are out. Yeah. Okay. What are you doing, Pom? Do you need an atlas? I'm
not a heavy gambler. Look, I have many vices. Gambling's not one of them. So, but yeah, she's mine too. Actually, my favourite Bombers content creator as well. Great minds, Tiger Time.
I wonder if you're all just scared now. Oh, here we go. Dacos 350, Merritt 7. Yeah, I thought it was.
Well, you are wearing the same outfit you wore when you famously stalked Zach Merritt.
I take umbrage of that. You take that back right now. I did no such thing at all. I was just crying on my own in my own little room when Zach Merritt did what he did. There was no stalking happening whatsoever at all.
Yeah, tough. Look, I only bet like real things. I don't like gambling with money. Like, as you can see, I have no value for anything else there. I've retired from tattoo bets though, so you'll be pleased to know.
What's a tattoo bet?
So you'll see the video soon. Me and Sweep are catching up this week to do it, but I bet.
Oh yes, I know the tattoo bet.
Sweep's logo.
Oh yeah, why did you do that?
Like we do proper serious bets. I do. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I need to stop.
Yeah. TL right is $67 to win the medal. Man, I'd have to pinch myself if that happened.
Well, I mean, how many goals wins the medal, do you reckon?
Sorry?
How many goals do you think wins the medal?
Is it for a forward? Like, typically the midfielders win the medal.
Yeah, but what would you say the minimum is? Like, I've just found the medal odds. Would you say, like, what, 6, 5?
What? As in if a forward were to win it? Yeah. Yeah. On Anzac Day, I think 6. Yeah. Would get you the medal, surely. But, Sean's going 7, Pixel 4, Moby 5, Shaky 7.
You have to be a lot, because you'd imagine, like, no matter what happens, Nick Dacos has got 30 touches.
Yeah. You just know where this is going. Well, I don't know why we're discussing it. You know, Nick Dacos is getting the medal, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that doesn't bother. No, because I think if you win, though,
I was going to say, but if we win, I don't care. So, Alrighty, everybody, we might leave it there. Thank you all for joining me. It's been fun as usual. The ratings is always fun times. I don't know, Trish. That might be one for Google.
Well, all I know is I know what I'm doing this weekend. $101, Jacob Farrow to win it.
$101. How much are you going to put on that?
Well, I've got a $20 bonus bet. So, like, look, if I just stick the full 20 on there. Because I have got Jacob Farrow and Nick Dacos for the Rising Star and Brownlow double, which...
Yep.
So,
okay.
$2,000 for cheering Jacob Farrow on against...
That's what it feels like to me, Lachie. But anyway, again, if we win, I don't care. All right, Pom, thank you so much for your efforts and your company tonight. A wonderful, as always, chat. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. The preview will be out tomorrow and a couple more things during the week as well for the members. And then Thursday night, I will see you all live for the team selection. We'll have a guest, wonderful guest. And I don't think there'll be many team changes to talk through, but we'll always find something to chat through. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Please like and subscribe on the way out to Pommy's channel and to this one. And I'll see everybody during the week. Ciao, Pom.
Much love.